Alright, welcome back to New Zealand. I cleaned my garage to make room for another bike because today's the day I get my second Zero. I actually bought my buddy Pinero's 2016 DSR and I'm just waiting for the truck to drop it off. So I'm super excited. You excited? I'm excited.
There goes my hero.
It's here! As you guys may have noticed, I haven't been able to ride my Zero much lately. Really needed a second bike, and when Pinaero told me he wanted to sell Max, his Zero DSR, I sent him a bunch of money and he sent me Max. It's got some really nice modifications like the Renthal bar, the Attribes handguards, and also a chain conversion, which I'm very excited about since my belt just snapped like a month ago. But it's also special because this was Pinero's very first motorcycle. So not only was it his first motorcycle, but it was an electric motorcycle, a Zero, just like mine. I even got to ride it when I went up to visit him in Washington. So I feel honored to be able to continue Max's adventure down here in New Zealand. Way back when I imported my first Zero, I left it at 100% before I shipped it, and when it arrived, it had 55%. So somebody wrote it, which I wasn't happy about. So this time, me and Pinaero had a little trick where I didn't give anybody the key. He zip-tied the key under the seat. So just a little trick for you guys importing bikes. If you don't want somebody goofing around on your pride and joy, don't give them the key. Simple as that. Max's first charge in New Zealand. After not being ridden for over 2 months, they say it's good to plug it in, let it charge up fully, and then the cells will balance and it'll work its Zero magic. I'm so insanely excited to have this bike here. It came all the way from Washington and now it's here in my garage in New Zealand. Thanks so much, Pinaero. Everybody who sees my bike asks me where I got it, because obviously there aren't any Zero dealerships in New Zealand, so you have to import them yourself. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the whole importing process. So how did I get it? How did I import it? How long did it take? How much did it cost? And how am I going to legalize it?
Quiet, Chim Chim. I'm trying to cook up an idea.
There are a few companies in New Zealand that import motorcycles, but I went with Taurus Logistics just because I used them on my first Zero, and Troy and Haley were awesome to deal with. They made the whole process really easy. I had a great experience the last time, and I had a great experience this time. The last time I bought my Zero, I went over to California and test rode one, and then I decided, okay, I'm going to buy that one in California and then have it shipped. In this case, it was also really easy because I bought the bike from a friend, and it was a bike I knew. I'd ridden it before, and I knew the condition of it. But if you're wondering where to find good deals on used Zeros, there's a Facebook group for used Zeros for sale. I feel like we're finally at that stage where the used market for electric motorcycles is getting big enough that it's becoming more affordable for more people to go electric. You know, most used Zeros are below 10 grand US. You can find a lot of them for around 8 grand US. Because yeah, I know buying a brand new electric motorcycle is crazy and it's really expensive and out of reach for most people. Especially when you have to factor in the exchange rate and convert it to New Zealand dollars. It's just way too much. Anyway, once I bought the bike, I emailed Taurus Logistics. And now we start our timeline of actually importing the bike and how long it's going to take. So on August 14th, I sent copies of the title, bill of sale, my passport, and some importing forms I had to fill out to Troy and paid a $500 deposit to get it all started. Taurus Logistics has an office in Long Beach, California. That's where their port is, where they ship out. But Max, the DSR, was up in Washington, so I had to have it shipped down, and that took a while to organize. So on August 24th, it was picked up in Washington, and then it arrived in Long Beach on the 29th. From then on, I got emails from Haley who updated me on shipping, when the cargo ship was going to arrive in the port, and when Max was actually going to make it on the boat to leave the US. It turned out the soonest cargo ship that was going to be there would be on September 17th, and Max was on that ship. Once Max was en route, I had to send the rest of the importing money to Taurus. A lot of those fees were in US dollars, so depending on what the exchange rate is when you import a bike, it's going to be either better or worse. But I'm just going to break it down in New Zealand dollars and tell you how much everything cost. So shipping, obviously the biggest cost here, it was $913.35. And then there were port fees on both sides. So in Long Beach it was $249.10, And in Auckland, once it arrived, it was $360. And then the importers mailed me the original title and some paperwork, and so that cost $65 because it had to come from a courier. And then there were a bunch of fees on entry, which added up to $579.17.
Oh boy, the price is getting better and better. I hope it keeps going up. Yum, yum.
The big killer, though, when you import a vehicle is GST, which is the tax on the value of the vehicle as well as the tax on the shipping, which is just, it's ridiculous, but you have to pay. If you can find a way around it, definitely go for it. Buying a new bike, obviously you're going to pay a lot of tax because the value is so much higher, so get a used bike, it just makes more sense. Anyway, GST was $2,008.05.
Wow!
Yep. So the cargo ship landed in Auckland on September 30th, only 2 weeks after it left. And then the bike has to go through customs and sit in quarantine for a little while, and they put it in this room and blast it with heat to kill all the bugs that could have traveled on your bike to New Zealand before it's released out into the country. But that only took a few days, so on October 3rd, a biosecurity guy emailed me to say that Max had cleared customs. If I was in Auckland, I could just go pick it up, but since I'm down in Wellington, unfortunately I had to pay $372 to have the bike trucked down here. I could have flown up and rented a van myself, but it's just more expensive, so might as well just have somebody else do it. But that took probably a week and a half, so October 14th, exactly 2 months to the day that I sent the importers all my paperwork, Max arrived at my house. Oh, Gentom! Once you have the bike, you can't just go ride it because you still need to get it inspected, get the first warrant of fitness, you need to get registration and a number plate. In Wellington, the only place that does motorcycles is VTNZ in Tatahi Bay, so I took Max there.
Hello, Inspector. Here I am, and I'm ready to help.
I had to get there super early because it took a few hours, but the inspector detector at VTNZ goes through all the basic warrant of fitness stuff, but also rides it around to check for suspension or brake issues. One thing that almost delayed my inspection was the width of the brake disc.
Why are you asking me a question like that, Inspector?
There's usually a factory spec that's printed on the disc itself, but on Zeros it's not. And they need to know the minimum width of the brake disc. And on a Zero, luckily it was in the manual, I checked while it was there, otherwise I have to go home and come back. And I didn't want to come back and do that whole thing again. So in case they ask you, it's 3.5 millimeters. If you buy something new, like an SRF or an Energica, those aren't in the system yet, so the VIN number has to be broken down, and you need to tell them what each number represents. That can be found in the manual, you just have to email them, it usually takes about a week. Luckily, Tim already brought in a 2016 DSR, so mine was a breeze. Alright, success. Got my new license plate, and the DSR is legal in New Zealand. The first warrant of fitness was $179. After that, I think every year it's $60. And the price for a year's worth of registration on a 2016 DSR is $438.43. Now all you have to do is drill holes in your fancy new plate and you're ready to ride petrol-free all over New Zealand. I wanted to make this video to show people exactly how to do it yourself. That it's not too complicated, it's just a matter of buying the bike online and then paying the importers to work their magic. In the end, the whole shipping process took about 2 months, and here's a breakdown of how much each step cost. And the total was this much.
We could buy a lot of candy. We could buy all the candy in the world.
Anyway, I hope you guys found this interesting, and I hope this helps get more people importing Zeros to New Zealand. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Be sure to see the next thrilling episode of